I just wanted to kind of give a first impressions review on the Catamount Fury 2 by Century Arms. It's a 12 gauge AK-47 style shotgun. It has a 20-inch barrel on it. Comes with 3 separate chokes when you get the gun. As of the time of the posting of this video, they're going for about $3.99 at PalmettoStateArmory.com with free shipping. If you're in state, you're looking at about a $30 tax on that. Comes with 2 magazines, standard box mags. Kind of look like they're a mix between a Sega mag and a Vepr mag. From what I understand, you can modify your standard Sega 12 mags to fit the Catamount 2. On the Catamount 1, I believe there's a steel tab you have to add in underneath the receiver to catch the front feed lip, which these magazines do not have. I've run about roughly 15-20 shots through this gun so far, and honestly, I had one malfunction that I've seen so far. We caught it on film, and it was when I was trying to bump fire the gun, which is to be expected when you're doing stuff like that. Basically, I had a hammer strike, but the round did not fire. I reset the hammer, and the round fired just fine. I have a feeling it was something along the lines of the hammer rode the bolt home, or something like that. I'm not really sure. On these guns, you can do a standard pistol grip conversion, just like you would on the Sega 12s. It takes a little bit more work on these, being that the trigger hole for the forward setup is not slotted for the single hook or the double hook G2 trigger groups that you would normally use on these conversions. Basically, the factory trigger on this feels real good. It breaks at about 3.5–4 pounds. It's just kind of got a long travel, which is normal with the AK style guns. Something I liked about this gun over top of the Sega 12 that I had purchased is this top cover with the integrated Picatinny rail. It makes it nice for adding optics if you want to. Whereas the Sega, you got to buy a standard AK style mount, which comes up around the side, and they just don't seem to work the best. They work, they're just not the best. Everything on this gun feels real smooth. I'm sure that there's other people out there that get these things out of the box and they just run like shit. But I haven't really had any issues out of mine. Again, I haven't put a whole lot of rounds through it. I've only ran about 3 or 4 mags. And I did have one failure to fire, but I think that was just because I was playing around and did something wrong. I don't know. I'm planning on taking this gun and doing a pistol grip conversion eventually. It's going to cost me a little bit over $100. And again, I'll have to machine out a spot down here. Once you take this plate off, there's a square cut out there. But again, it doesn't have the hook set up for the standard AK triggers. And from what I've understood, basically the rear block in the receiver, where your stock would go in there, has a different cutout than your standard AK stock, so that's going to be a little different for me as well. But as you can see, the factory setup on this has kind of that aftermarket Sega 12 pistol grip looking thing. I don't know. It reminds me of like an RPK or something, and it feels okay, but there's a little hole right here. I don't know if you can see that, but that's where it bolts to the receiver, and this tends to cut in to the top of your palm there when you're holding it. I don't know. It's kind of hard with the camera angle I've got, but that tends to bite into your hand a little bit. The rubber pad that comes on here is a real nice pad. It feels good when you shoot the gun. All I've run is Rio Royal Buck, which is that 9 pellet double aught buck. It's got a nice little kick to it, but it doesn't feel bad. This gun comes with the adjustable gas block, just like the Segas do. Real easy to adjust. You basically just depress the little button there, give it a spin, and it'll click when you get to your next setting. Let's see. There it goes. And then it's locked in. Easy as that. When you want to go back, you just turn it around. I believe on this one the number 1 setting would be for low brass birdshot, stuff like that. And the number 2 setting would be for slugs, buckshot, heavier loads. It seemed to run good on both settings. I tried both and didn't have any issues out of that. Something cool about this gun that my Sega didn't have is the last round bolt hold open. Basically, when you get the mag in, fight this magazine in there. You get to your last shot, the gun locks open. Not anything special. It seems like it's a little bit cheesy, but it does seem to work. You can see there's a little button that pops out here. Basically, you can push up on that to help with the release of the bolt. There's a button right behind the mag well where your mag release would be. You could use that when the mag's not in, or if you have a full mag in the gun, you can use that to lock the bolt back. So basically, you would push up on that, and it would hold the bolt back. Same concept. I did notice inside of the gun there were some rough edges. Wasn't anything that was too hard to take down. I just used a basic knife sharpening stone and polished it up. And it didn't take a whole lot of work at all to get it to where I like it. And right now I'm running it with anti-seize in there to help kind of polish everything up as it goes. Not too worried about it. I'll probably put a couple 100 rounds through it, clean it a few times, and then just use standard Hoppies number 9 or Hops number 9. Again, I don't really have any issues with this gun. Everything seems to operate well. It feels good. It doesn't recoil real bad. It looks like possibly they may have put a different recoil spring in this one than the other ones that I've seen. I don't know. This one could have been one that somebody got that was a lemon. They had sent it back and got it, reworked. I don't really know. I don't know enough about these. But this gun did run really well out of the box, which I've heard from other people that they don't. But again, I've never really owned a gun that you didn't have to break in before they ran great. So I don't have any puns with this gun. My Sega out of the box did not operate as well as this gun does. And there's a lot of people out there that would probably argue about that all day long. But we tried running Federal rifled slugs through my Sega, and the Winchester Super X rifled slugs, as well as high brass bird and buckshot, and all those. I was having issues with stovepiping with my Sega. This one I haven't gotten to try any low brass birdshot yet, but I haven't had any malfunctions like I did with my Sega right out the box. So I'm kind of looking like I might have gotten a good gun right out the box. I only paid $400 for it, so I'm a happy camper. Whereas my Sega was almost $800. As far as under the dust cover goes, let's see if I can pop this off pretty easily. You got a standard dust shroud on there. I've seen a video where a guy had an issue with this breaking off. Don't think it's a real big deal. Mine seems solid, or solid enough. So we'll see. Time will tell. Basically, the trigger group inside of this gun looks very similar to the trigger group that was inside of my Sega. Same thing with the firing pin mechanism. bolt and bolt carrier. Everything seems to be very similar. I noticed the spring, the recoil spring on the Sega, this spring, the front spring, was a little bit longer on the Sega, probably a ½ inch, maybe a little more than a ½ inch longer. But I would almost imagine you could put the enhanced reliability springs from the Segas in these and they'd probably work just fine. But again, everything else inside of here looks like your standard Sega 12 mechanisms. As far as the hammer, the trigger mechanism, it all operates almost identical to the Sega layout, including the way the bolt locks in and the bolt carrier travels. As you can see, I got a bunch of anti-seize on there. Let's see if I can get this to tuck back in. Again, it assembles just like the Sega 12 does. No big issues with mine. Again, there's some rough edges inside of here, but being that I paid half the price for this that I paid for my Sega, I didn't really expect a whole lot. And again, this thing seems to be running better than my Sega did out of the box. We'll see how it does after I do some work to the gun. See if it can still hold on to that well functionability. Yeah. So as far as I'm concerned, so far, and I've only had this gun a few days, not even a week, I'm pretty happy with it. As a matter of fact, if you were to ask me out of the box which gun did I think was better, the Sega 12 or the Catamount Fury 2, I would probably say the Catamount Fury 2. Even though you get some reviews out there saying that it's not the best gun in the world, this one seems to operate better than the Sega did out of the box. If I have any issues, I'll give an updated review on this gun. And I appreciate everything. I'll see you guys in the next video.